back, Shotmakers Club, episode 6. We got a special guest, Jahseem Felton.
Good.
Yes, sir. We in here. Coach Erik Whaley.
Yes, sir. What it do, baby?
Ja is an 8th grader on varsity at Westminster Catawba Christian School that Erik is coaching at, along with Coach Addie.
Yep.
So we're super excited to have him here, man. This ain't no regular 8th grader.
Definitely not a regular 8th grader.
Let him know, E.
So, we just going to start this off by, asking Ja first a couple quick questions just to get them started. One of the questions that I have, I've been training this kid and coaching this kid. Well, this is my first year coaching him, but I've been training him probably since he was in 6th grade. So, from that standpoint, one of the first questions that I would like to ask is, how do you think training, has prepared you to play at this level, at such an early age?
Ever since I came to eat in the 6th grade, I've been playing against grown men, way stronger than me. And when I first started, I couldn't do no moves on them. But now, I'm playing varsity, I can do the moves easier because I have Erik, Dewan, they up in me like an NBA player.
Yep.
So it's easier to do everything.
And one of the things that I can say to that is, in practice, especially, in practice for Westminster, well, we make it a point to always put, Will, who's probably our best defender. Ja goes up against him in practice almost every day. And Will is a real physical defender, and I think that has definitely, helped and aided in getting him prepared for that varsity level. And just like he said, man, at EAT, if you're not a dog, if you're not ready to play, you're going to get embarrassed and you're going to get showed up and eat. So I think, having that level of competition on a daily basis, has prepared Ja, over the last, 2 or 3 years to get ready for this, level.
That's awesome, man. And I'm really excited we could bring you in here, man, because me and you was talking about this yesterday, man. This is not going to be the last interview, that you do. Definitely. So it's a great way for you to just get used to being on the mic and having people asking you questions. Let's jump right into. I see you got your brand on chest.
Yeah, he not playing no games. He came ready. That's what I'm talking about.
That's dope, man. What you got there?
JFO stands for Jahseem Felton 0.
Okay.
Ever since NCAA made that rule, that kid could start making money.
Yep.
Start promoting it now. So once I get older, I can get used to promoting it.
Yep, that's smart.
And one thing that I could say, about Ja is, not only on the basketball court, but this kid is an awesome student. I know, just in talking to a lot of the teachers at the school, man, as soon as he was there first day, I mean, they love him, and they don't want him to go anywhere. And, he's a great student and, an unbelievable kid too, man. You should see the way all the middle schoolers gravitate towards him at school, man. They love him and his teammates love him as well. For him to be, the young one, on the team, I think a lot of his teammates, they look to him, for leadership.
Absolutely.
And they look to him, when the game is getting tight, to be able to make plays. So I think that says a lot about him as a person and a player as well.
And that's super important. And what you said about, the NCAA rules, it falls in line with what we're doing, because we had just talked about this last week. We can get the kids on here now that they're able to build a brand for themselves going into high school or going into college. This is a perfect platform for them to start that. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing, and I'm happy you in 8th grade already on it, man. That's impressive.
Yeah. And one thing that I would like to ask you is, with you playing varsity, what do you think has been the biggest adjustment, as far as the game gameplay is concerned, from, playing against your kids, playing against kids your age last year in middle school and this summer on the circuit versus playing, against 16 and 17-year-olds? What do you think for you has been the biggest adjustment?
The speed,
yeah,
and IQ, because usually I play my age group, I know what's going to happen, like, smarter.
Yeah.
For the 16, they probably got the same IQ, so I got to think a little bit more than them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now I have to play harder.
Yeah.
Like, 8th grade, I could probably lack off one play and nothing happen. But if you lack off one play varsity, they're just going to go straight. They're going to see it. They're going to go straight at you the whole time.
Ain't no ball watching, as your pops would say.
And, it's funny, we were just talking about how, when you in middle school, you were more talented than everyone. That's all it takes to be better than other middle schoolers. But once you start getting into a higher level, it's going to be leadership, IQ, the things that you just spoke about. So, man, I just think you got a super bright future when it comes to a leadership role.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I would say is, I think he picked it up very fast. The first, I think we're 13 games in, 12-1, and Jai's actually the leading scorer right now.
What's that number?
I think he's around 12 or 13 points a game.
Okay.
But he's had, in the last 3 games, I believe, 3 or 4 games, he's had 20 points in his last 3 or 4 games.
Okay.
He's been averaging 20 points. So I definitely think, from a scorer's point, he's starting to figure it out. One of the things that I know he wanted to work on coming into this year was his pull-up jumper, mid-range pull-up jumper. And I think, from where it was at 2 months ago to where it's at now, man, it's scary. Adrian was in the gym yesterday, and he just kept saying, like, just how different he's looked in just 2 months of being over there at Westminster. Every move that he makes now is so precise, and it's something that you don't see. I train, so it's something that you don't see a lot from younger kids.
Younger kids, right?
But his ability to get to the spots that he wants to on the floor, I think it has come a long way in these 2 months.
That's what's up.
And I think it probably only took him a first half to get adjusted to the varsity level. I don't think the very first half of that first game, I don't think it went the way that he necessarily wanted it to go. Mm-hmm. But he went in halftime. We had some talks. He came out there and he showed everybody why he deserved that spot. So.
Okay, awesome, man. Is this your first year under Coach Addie playing for him?
Yeah.
Perfect, man. So where you from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
You from Charlotte? Okay, hometown kid. Love it.
He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. And while we're speaking on the basketball thing, Coast2Coast Preps, a very good ranking system for the younger kids, came out 2 days ago, I believe, and Jahseem Felton has been regarded and ranked as the #1 8th grader in the country. So
congratulations, man.
Definitely give him a big hand clap.
How's that feel, man?
A big hand clap for that.
Normal?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
And to kind of speak on that, I remember last year, I think it was when the rankings came out, I think he was like number 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you've been here before.
Yeah, and so I could just remember, like, he wasn't rocking with that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't rocking with that. So just to see, in a year's time, the amount of hard work, that he puts in, is definitely brought it, kind of full circle. Another question I have for you is, Ja, we always talk about, for him, he's a kid that, he works out before practice, and then he'll go work out again. So what do you think made you fall in love with just the work ethic that you have? And, like, I think I tell a lot of kids a lot of times, I think they like the game of basketball. They love what the game of basketball may bring to them, whether that's the NBA, the money, the cars, and all that. But I think if you really love basketball, you have to fall in love with the process. And I think Jahseem is one of those kids who has fallen in love with the process and the grind. So my question to you would be, what do you think what do you think kind of aided and helped in you fall in love with the process of just getting better on a day-to-day basis?
Really, just seeing what basketball could take you.
Yeah.
Like I can see like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is done with basketball, but he's still making millions of dollars just because he played basketball. Yeah. And I'm not the type of kid that's just. I like to do stuff productive.
Yeah.
So if I'm just sitting around, I'm not gonna be the kid. I'm just gonna sit there for the rest of the day. I'm gonna get up and go outside, shoot, dribble, go to the gym and do something.
And to that point, I've honestly never heard Jahseem talk about playing video games. Like, I don't think I've ever heard him talk about playing video games. Not to say that he doesn't play them.
I might just play it.
Yeah, but I don't hear like a normal 7th, 8th grader like Fortnite this, Fortnite that, 2K.
They on the game.
But instead of twiddling them fingers, he's getting jump shots up.
And it's okay to play games.
Definitely okay to play video games.
But I think from what I'm hearing from you, man, it sounds like work come first. You know what I mean? And to hear that you're doing good in school as well, I feel like that combination, man, of your talent, your work ethic, and your grades, man, you can only shine from here. You know what I mean? So just keep going, keep writing, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You got a really bright future. I came to see you guys play, and I was really impressed. And I talked to Erik, and he was like, he's in 8th grade. I was like. What? Okay, so so that's what's up, man. But I like the attitude that you have of it's like, act like you've been there before.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's strong.
So kind of getting in, to something a little more light. What are some basketball players that you look up to, whether it's college, NBA, or whoever? Who are some basketball players that you look up to?
Scoring wise, I go KD. KD's like 7 foot, and you can't really guard a 7 foot person like a guard. Yeah. But like I want to learn how to be like a real good guard. John Morant.
Okay.
Because he's 6'3", 6'4", like me.
Yeah.
Pass, score, could do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I want to like see attitude on the court like a dog, probably Kobe or Jordan.
Jordan.
Do you have a favorite NBA team?
Lakers.
Let's go. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a Lakers table.
Yeah, I try to keep it
here. Yeah,
but for sure, man. And shoot, if y'all want, we could go into to talking about that Lakers Clippers game. Did you get to catch that?
Some of it.
You saw some of it.
Man, that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, that one was tough to deal with. They were up 15, I believe, going into the second half. It was either first half or second half. They were up 15 at one point, and I think
Kawhi just turned it on.
Kawhi turned it on, but I think the lack of a third scorer, because Kuzma had it going, but LeBron really didn't have it going. AD kind of had it going a little bit. I think he just stuffed the stat sheet a little bit, but LeBron didn't really get it going until that fourth quarter, just some bonehead plays down the stretch, and not the ability to not put the ball in the basket towards the end, and the Clippers basically made every right play there at the end, and kind of won it. But I honestly, and I think I told you this the other day when it comes to I've been a LeBron fan since he got to the NBA, and there are times when I watch him and it frustrates me because. I think there are times when he is a little too passive. And I think that was the case going into that game. Again, the first 3 quarters, I think he was super passive. And, like I tell people all the time, I'm the biggest LeBron fan, but I'm also honest when it comes to him. I think if he wasn't as passive, I think they honestly win that game by double digits. Yeah. And that's when you brought up the point to me that, there are people saying that, the groin is still bothering him. Don't know that to be, true or not true. But I just felt like, in those first 3 quarters of the ball game, he didn't really, have his imprint on the game as he should. And I think Kawhi, first couple minutes of the game, he started off hot. He kind of tailed off a little bit in the second and third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, he picked it back up as he always does.
Yeah. So. And what's your point about there being a third scorer? Kuzma was having a good game. But Kuzma, he gets sometimes when he hits a couple shots off the gate, he starts to get tunnel vision. And it's like, as soon as I get the rock, I'm throwing it up. Yeah, heat check. You know what I mean? So, and that's just young, and I would say, the position he's been put in with the pressure, because everyone's kind of looking at him to be the third guy, and not to say it was his fault they lost, but that was I think in the second half, third quarter, that he kind of started flaming out a little bit.
Yeah, and Lakers fans don't fret, because like I said, I've been watching LeBron for a long time, and there is a such thing as playoff LeBron. Yeah. And there is such thing as playoff Rondo as well. And I think, I told you this the other day, back when his first stint, he was with Miami. The Bulls used to beat up on him faithfully during the regular season, and every time come playoff time, it was 4-1, 4-2. So, and it wasn't like they got blown out. It was a close game. LeBron missed those free throws down the stretch that I think, probably could have aided in, the comeback or, them sealing that win. But it's a long season. They got the first two. So we'll see, where it goes from there.
I think maybe All-Star. And when playoff season starts, LeBron won't be that passive.
Yeah. And I was saying the other day, I think if he is hurt, I know he's trying to kind of go against the low management grain. But if he's hurt, man, sit it down. Yep. Right now, y'all, 20? They lost 6 games, like 24-6 or something like that. So. Sit down. You're on the right path to get to the playoffs. It's not like you got to press it. But I can understand because of what happened last year when they were the 4th seed and he went down, and all of a sudden they were out the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I get that.
I'm interested to get Ja's take on this. What do you? Because this year has kind of been the year of Giannis. And the Bucks. What is your take on him as a basketball player? You like him? Don't like him?
I like him. But it's just he needs to shoot threes. Now the NBA is turning into high school ball zoning because Giannis can't shoot. So. Even if you're open and they at the free throw line, still shoot it. Don't go towards them, because you go towards them, they just gonna like Embiid showed them that he can't do nothing without shooting the ball. Yeah. So I like him, but if he get a shot, I see him. I could see nobody stopping him.
I think that's definitely the consensus overall with Giannis is if he gets that jump shot, it's going to be scary for the NBA. I mean, he's like Ja, he's. For NBA, he's young. He's only 25. Ja's Ebert on Varsity, so the development can be there, and I think it will be there. Do I think he's going to be an all-time great shooter? No, I don't. But I think he can definitely turn himself into a respectable shooter where you can't just clog up the lane and sit in the paint.
And I think we'll see really. That will play out in the playoffs for sure, because anything you do in the regular season is different when you get to the playoffs. So, and those type of things get amplified, as you saw last year against Toronto, where they basically said shoot it, and there was nothing he could do. So, let me ask you this: since we talk about Giannis, the other guy that is kind of being seen as the top guy, how do you feel about Kawhi and his game?
I love it. Two-way player.
Yeah.
Do anything on the court. I don't like when people say he don't talk. He just handle his business and go away.
Very private.
I think in a couple years, Kawhi would be the main person in the NBA they look for once LeBron or KD retire.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. And KD, I know you said KD was your guy. We're looking forward to seeing him next year.
Definitely.
And getting back on the court, because the NBA is missing. We missing him, and we missing Steph and Clay. We missing just having that dynamic of those guys out there.
But shout out to the Warriors though for getting that win on Christmas Day, because everybody thought they were gonna get blown out by like 40.
I was watching that game, and I can't, because I didn't know what time the Laker game came on. So I was watching that game, and I was like, man, I'm not watching this. Drank some eggnog and, what I mean, kicked it with the fam. And then my grandfather came down. He was like, man, Warriors just got that W. I was like, what?
I was watching it, but then I saw they started double teaming Harden. So I said, oh, it's just a regular game again. So I stopped watching. I come back down. They winning by like 6 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that seems to be like the new NBA thing with James Harden, man. I see it almost almost every game he plays now. As soon as he come across half court, they're doubling.
Yep.
Like immediately.
And James Harden, he might be out of anybody, maybe right under LeBron, because LeBron got a lot of haters. Mm-hmm. But James Harden, he's right there.
Yeah.
What's your take on James Harden? How you feel about him as a player?
As a player, I like him, but sometimes he just do stupid stuff. Like you got 2 people on you while you're trying to do a step back, pass it up.
He got tunnel vision.
I like the moves he coming up with, because I always like the step back,
mm-hmm.
and I like how you make free throws, because he a guard.
Yeah.
And I hate when people say nobody want to see him. Nobody came to the game to see
him shoot free throws.
Yeah. Nobody came to see him get fouled either.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because I always say, man, like if you don't want him to shoot free throws, you got to stop fouling them.
Foul.
That's the thing. They can't guard him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's either he gonna score or we got to foul him.
Yeah.
And that's what the greats do. They get to the line.
Dude, I don't think you can complain about somebody averaging 40. Like at that point in time, I mean,
remember we was talking about that early. Like, what is he about to average 40? And so far, it's been pretty much.
Yeah, I think he's still at like 39 points.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's wild, especially in today's NBA.
Yeah. So y'all got a tournament today, starting today. Game at 4:00, right?
Yep. Blue Star Invitational.
Shout out Tom Colucci.
Yes, definitely shout out Tom Colucci. A big time basketball mind from New York. He's moved down here. I think his son is an assistant coach at Elon. So I think that's kind of why he came down to the Carolinas. But it's their first tournament that they're running in the Carolinas. And there's an American bracket and there's a national bracket. We'll be playing in the American bracket this year, going up against Lakeside High School out of Georgia at 4:00. Don't really know too much about them, but I always tell them, we regardless of how we scout the team or whatever, like we can't control that. Only thing that we can control is what we do. And I think if we go out and we play the way that we're supposed to play as a team, I don't see us having any problems this weekend. So we'll see. There might be I don't even know if you know this, but Covenant Day, the team that we played first game, and they have a kid that's a year older than Ja that Ja knows very well, Biscuit, 9th grader guard that has an offer from Syracuse already, and him and Ja they battled pretty well. I would say Ja won that matchup because he got the dub. You know what I'm saying? I think definitely the stats, they were right neck and neck with each other as far as stats concerned. So to me, if you get the dub, you win that matchup.
and so this is your friend.
Yeah.
So how does it feel, when you going against a guy that you're close with, that he can play as well?
Mm-hmm.
On the court, we not friends.
Yeah.
We just talk to each other. But after the game, we cool, we talk, we hang out. But on the court, I forget all about that friend stuff.
Yeah, and one thing I can say about this area is there's a lot of talent in this 8th grade to 9th grade age group here in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And Ja knows a lot of these kids, so he's definitely going to be playing in big time matchups. Over the course of his high school career, in the Carolinas. So that's definitely a matchup that we are going to see. Definitely multiple times, down the road. So I'm definitely excited, to coach it, but as well just be a part of it as well. So,
and that's the beautiful thing about the game is that, man, it brings you together with so many people who are like-minded. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of us know each other from hooping together. You know what I mean? All my friends that I have to this day are friends that I've known from hooping. And me and Erik met around the same time we were your age. So That's one of the beautiful things about the game is just the relationships that you build with people.
And that kind of goes to, a point that, me, John, his dad had, a conversation outside the gym the other day just about, being around like-minded people and having like-minded friends. And I think, the fact that he has, peers that, are just as good, as him in the game of basketball, he can have a couple friends that are on his level. Because, I'll say it, I think he's going to be a high major Division I basketball player. He has friends who I think are going to be high major Division I basketball players. So, as long as y'all keep that circle close and, don't let anybody in it and, make sure that each other, are, doing the right thing and staying on the grind, man, I think the sky's the limit for all of y'all, man. And I'm definitely, honored and proud to, one, to say that, I have trained Ja, but now I can say I coach him,
Yep.
And, I definitely want to just give a thank you to Mike, for trusting in me, Ja's pops, for trusting in me, trusting in DeJuan. I never told him the story, but, I think the first time I trained Ja, I think it was because DeJuan was out or something like that, and so Ja was in the gym, and so his dad was like, go ahead and train him. And I'll be honest with you, he had, even as a sixth grader, he has a lot of hype. A lot of people, around Charlotte know who he is. Right. He's been with the best trainers. He's been with DeJuan. He's been with Trainer G. He's been with everybody who, has some relevancy in Charlotte as far as his training goes. So I was a little nervous, like, damn, because Mike is not the type of parent who's just going to sit there and watch you train his son.
He's involved.
He's involved, as all parents should be, especially if you know the game. Yep. So Mike is going to ask you questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? He's going to, I think, he watches Ja more than anybody. So he knows what Ja needs to work on. So he'll come up to you, talk to you, hey, coach, I think he needs to work on this, blah, blah, blah. And I always, respect that in Mike because, a lot of parents, don't do that with their kids. They're not as involved as, as they should be. And 13 games in, Mike is at front row in every game. He comes in, he walks in with his chair. I know he's there when I see him. In the 2-3 years that I've trained him, I think there maybe have been 2 or 3 times when Ja has trained in the gym and Mike wasn't sitting right there on them bleachers as well.
That's what's up, man.
I'm saying?
Hey, that's so important. Really, that's what this is for me because, my son's 1 year old and 1 year old, and what I wanted to do is build something that, by the time he's Ja's age, we got a great social media profile. I see you got a great social media following already, and I think in this day and age, that's really important, to get not only the people in your area to know about you, but people outside of your area to know about you. So, that's really cool to hear, that your pops is really involved, and I commend that.
Yeah. Lastly here to kind of wrap up, Ja, is there any, just throw out some fun questions. Are there do you have a pregame ritual that you do, or any certain music that you listen to? I mean, I know I'm his coach, but we let them do their thing pretty much to the start of the fourth quarter.
You're not listening to Boosie, Erik.
Nah, Josh definitely not listening to Boosie. He's definitely not listening to Boosie. But we pretty much let them do their thing up until the fourth quarter, and then us as coaches come in. So I don't necessarily always see what it is that they're doing. So just kind of speak to that. Is there any pregame routine that you do, or any type of music that you like listening to?
Pregame, jump rope.
Yeah.
Put my music on. Listen to music. I'm not the type of kid that like music that you don't know what they saying.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I put on some Meek Mill.
Okay.
Rappers that what they have in the story.
Yeah.
Before the game.
We rock with Meek.
Yeah, definitely rock with Meek.
Or most thing I might do is I might just lay down, close my eyes, and think about the game. And to me, I'm that person that has the game set out. So in the beginning of the game, first quarter, first half, what am I doing? Am I gonna score? Am I gonna pass? Am I gonna play? What am I gonna do to get the other team off guard? So I just get prepared for the game, and that's it.
That's great, man. Like I said, it sounds like you focused.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive for someone your age. I tell you right now, when I was in 8th grade, I don't know. I don't think I was focused, guys. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things going on.
So yeah, man. So one question that I do, you know, kind of want to ask you to kind of get to, like, you know, the college, high school level. You know, one, who is your favorite college basketball team? And why are they your favorite college basketball team? Is it more so because of the players, or is it because of the coach, or
region?
Yeah.
Duke.
Okay.
Was my favorite team.
Okay.
All right.
Ever since I was little, my dad liked it.
Okay.
Duke. And
is it because of Coach K, or is it because of the players that he gets in?
I love how Coach K coach, but it's one because my cousin went there, and you know my cousin went to North UNC.
Okay.
Raymond Felton.
Okay. Oh, Raymond Felton. Okay.
He went there, so I just like the opposite team. And I liked all the players that came in from Duke.
Raymond Felton, the legend, Carolina legend.
Carolina legend.
That's what's up. I didn't even put two and two together. Yeah. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. We got 30 minutes in. We really appreciate you coming, Ja.
Definitely the first interview. First interview.
And that's dope. Yeah. Because, you know, like we were saying, man, first of all, you're helping us.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? But it's also an opportunity for you to talk about your brand. It's one thing to just post a picture, but to be able to talk about it, talk about your game, and to get ready for these type of situations, because they're gonna be putting the mic in your face. That's just that's how it goes. You know what I mean? When you're talented like that.
You got any shout outs?
Shout out to my mom and dad. Taking me
big shout out.
Yeah, big shout out.
Shout out to all the kids up there in Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay.
My dad, father's like the second home to me.
Okay.
Yep.
And
shout out to everybody. Everybody give me energy to keep going.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dope. Let me do a shout out real quick, because I told my mans I would do this. Shout out to the podcast podcast about sneakers.
Okay.
That's John Douglas. He's running that, and that's real dope. And they know what they're talking about. Real sneakerhead. So y'all check that out.
Okay. I guess I'll go last. Definitely. Shout out to my boys, my Westminster boys. Got to do that shout out. Game time today. I hope all y'all getting ready. Shout out to Eat. Shout out to Carlin and KD. And definitely, you know, last but not least, we want to give a big birthday shout out to the host and creator, Marcel Howard.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to you, my brother.
Appreciate that,
you know, so funny story, you know, kind of going back long ways. Marcel was actually the very first person that I met when I moved to North Carolina, like in 2005. We met on MySpace, and I don't even think Marcel had moved here yet. I think you were getting scoping. Ready. Yeah,
I was scoping.
Yeah, he was just trying to find like-minded kids, like you said, that play basketball and everything. I think he reached out to me on MySpace, and we actually didn't cross paths till like 2 or 3 years later. Once we got to high school, he played with Adrian, who's recording this. He played with Adrian at Hopewell. You know, we kind of just been clicked tight ever since, man.
Yes,
so definitely happy birthday, brother.
Appreciate you,
love
bro.
you, man, and you know, let's keep this thing going, and you know, many more years after this.
Oh yeah, you already know, man. And Ja, thank you again for coming, man.
Thank you, Ja.
Good luck tonight. Today, 4 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock.
We'll be there.
All right.
That's the show. Appreciate it.
Shotmakers Club, we out.
Peace.